we've got some people that are newer, so they are trying to figure out what their niche is going to be and how to choose their niche. I think that we've got some people with a lot of experience with a lot of different things and interested in a lot of things. So it's just hard to decide what you want to do. And I think that one of the biggest reasons this is really hard to do is because it feels really final. Like you feel like that decision has to be the final decision, and like you can't change your mind, and you just need to know right now exactly what you're going to do. And because that feels like such a final and very important thing to pick, I think that that causes a lot of anxiety around the situation and just decision paralysis and really just challenging to decide. So there are some things that you can kind of go, like a path you can go down to decide what's going to be really the most educated decision to make. As far as if you do have multiple things you're considering, there are options that are going to be more lucrative. So we would want to go that route if we can. And I think there's a big thing with people selling themselves short and just feeling like, you know, why, or nobody's going to pay for this. Like, why would somebody pay for this? But I think that if we kind of get out of that mindset a little bit, and when you think about it, people pay for literally everything. People pay to have their yard done, landscaping, even weekly mowing. Like people pay to have their dogs walked. People pay for literally anything that is going to make their life more convenient or get them to an end result faster. So especially in certain situations, if we're not always in the most financially secure situation, we are not really thinking with that mindset, because we're thinking in the mindset of, well, I would never spend my money on that because, oh my gosh, like I'm barely getting by as it is. I can't afford to pay somebody to walk my dog. I better just walk the dog myself, right? But there are so many people that do pay for this stuff, and I don't want anybody to sell themselves short just because they think that people are not going to buy it. And a lot of the market research that you'll do in the 30-day challenge will help you. That's kind of the whole point in the market research, in my opinion, is going out there to spark ideas for yourself and see what other people are doing to monetize on that particular niche that you're interested in pursuing, because people are monetizing literally everything. And I think when you actually physically see it, you're like, oh, wow, people actually are talking about this and selling something related to it. And it just kind of gets rid of that mindset of it not being possible or nobody being willing to pay for it. I had someone reach out to me about helping them manage their website and Amazon storefront. That would be something outside of my comfort zone, but I'm thinking could be something easily accomplished with this software. Let's see. Manage their website and Amazon storefront. I don't really know exactly what they mean by that. So I think we would need a little bit more details. It would depend if they're wanting you to create the website for them. You could definitely do that with the software. Managing their Amazon storefront would be a little bit challenging just because you have to have their login info in order to upload to their storefront. So I think we would need some more information on that front. But as far as building a website for somebody, you can absolutely do that with the software, and they would need to have their own domain, and then you would have to connect that and work with them to connect that. But you can absolutely do that with the software. But yeah, there's, especially when you start posting, and I know, Jessica, you already have been, so you've made quite a bit of connections in this space with me in programs and also putting yourself out there. But you make connections with people, and this is another reason why I know it's really hard to just pick something and just do it, because it does feel like a really final decision, but it's really not final. And all of your decisions that you make, just because you make a decision now, you could go down a path for several weeks or even months and then decide, wow, this isn't for me. Like, I'm not really digging this. I don't really want to do this anymore. I think I'm going to pivot completely. That is completely normal. And that's just part of the process. Like, I know that it feels like that would be a waste of time to like pick the wrong niche and go down all of this path with the wrong niche, but it's all part of the process. And I don't want anybody to be scared of that, because that is just part of it. There have been so many times I have gone down a path for weeks, and then come to find out it was like either people didn't care about what I created, or I changed my mind and I was like, you know what, this actually doesn't fit within, the goals for my business right now. So I'm going to pivot. And if it's necessary, I send out a communication to people so that they're aware of that no longer happening and why it's no longer happening. But these things are normal. And especially in the first year of business, things are going to change so much. And I just don't want anyone to get stuck on the whole niche thing. I think it's important, obviously, to make educated decisions and be smart about it. But as far as feeling like it's so final, I just don't want anyone to feel like that. So, let's see. So yeah, when it comes to deciding which one you're going to pick, if you have multiple things in mind, I think, and we talked about this in the community over the last week a little bit, if you guys are caught up in there, but it's, if you can, it is going to provide you the most return if you can provide something to people digitally. So this is going to be mostly the education space or the coaching space, and you can educate people and coach people on literally anything and everything. It could be as simple as, teaching somebody how to be an expert in Excel, or there's somebody that just created a course in a previous program about getting a baby to sleep. Like, there are so many different things that you can create and coach people on and teach people about. Or another one that I talk to a lot of realtors, and I just think that they have endless opportunity with being a lawyer and all of the things that they have, all of the knowledge that they have to know a lot of stuff. Like, if you are knowledgeable about anything, like, you can share that knowledge with other people and get paid to help them with things. And, first-time home buyers needing help with knowing what to look out for with a new home. Like, what do they need to check? What inspections do they need to make sure happen? How can they get their credit up to even be able to buy a home? Like, there are so many different things that you can do. And if you can, like, if you are struggling to decide which niche you want to go with, I think definitely trying to choose one that can be provided to people digitally is huge, because it typically, especially if you're going to create your own thing, which I highly, highly recommend you guys have in the back of your mind to create your own thing, because first of all, you're going to feel so much ownership over it, and you're going to be really proud of it. And people are going to be able to tell that you feel that genuinely. And when you're sharing somebody else's product, like say you want to start off as an affiliate, that's a great place to start to get some practice. And I definitely recommend doing that if you are just absolutely not comfortable creating your own thing just yet. Being an affiliate is great, and that's a great place to start. And some people stay there because they don't ever want to do their own thing, and that's totally fine too. I think that if you aren't fully passionate and fully invested in what you're trying to share, then it's going to come across in your content, and people are going to be able to tell, and they're not going to trust you. It's not going to feel genuine. It's not going to feel authentic, because you really don't have any skin in the game when you're promoting somebody else's thing. Now, that's not always the case, and everybody will have their own situation, but right along that same path, please, 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 please do not think that you need to share a course about making money online if you don't know anything about making money online, or if you're not passionate about making money online. Because I think the narrative that has been portrayed is just that. People think that, well, they're only making a ton of money because they're promoting a course. And it's like, okay, well, for people that are genuinely trying to coach people and help people, it's like, well, yeah, that is how we make money, because this is what we're good at. Like, the software definitely side, that's my expertise. That is why I make my money, by sharing the education and teaching people. But the narrative is spun in this negative way, because there are so many people that don't know crap about anything. They can't really help anybody, and they're portraying it to be something that it's not. They're portraying it to be something fast and easy when it is simply not. And what happens is other people, because of that narrative, they think that they need to share a make money online course in order to make a bunch of money, or for it to be worth their time. And that could not be further from the truth, because what's actually going to happen is people are going to be able to tell that you don't know what the heck you're talking about, and you're not going to make any money. So how about that as the result? Like, that is what happens to people. And then they finally, admit to themselves and to me or others that this just isn't aligning with me. Like, I just don't feel comfortable sharing this kind of stuff. I don't feel comfortable talking about the making money online space. I'm not passionate about it. I'm not that knowledgeable about it. I just don't feel comfortable. And then we work through a conversation about what they are actually knowledgeable about, typically probably related to their current career or previous work experience, or just something they're really passionate about, like skincare or clothes or whatever the case. And then they pivot and they actually start making money that is actually changing their life and improving their financial situation, because people can tell they actually know what they're talking about and they trust them. So please don't pigeonhole yourself down that path because you think that that's going to be the only way to make a lucrative amount of money. That is not true. And you're actually more likely to completely fail because you don't know what you're talking about. So I think that it's completely fine. A lot of people, I think, have their heart set on like helping other people learn how to make money online. And I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that. If that is genuinely what you want to do and you're really passionate about doing that, I completely understand. But I don't want anyone to feel like they have no other choice but to do that if they want to make good money. And then, of course, along with the whole digital product thing, I think if you're trying to decide between multiple things and you just really want to narrow it down, that's an amazing way to look at it to help you make your decision. But at the same time, I also don't want anybody to think that they can't make money promoting physical products, because there are an insane amount of people that make crazy money promoting physical products, especially with things like TikTok Shop. And I will definitely be adding some more training and stuff about that, but it's possible to make money in any avenue that you want to be in. And honestly, like, finding something that you are knowledgeable about and passionate about is going to be the best shot you have at making money. It's not going to be what you think other people, or what you think that you need to do, because that's going to only way to make the most money. No, you can make the most money with whatever you want. You just have to be knowledgeable about it, passionate about it, and just be willing to put in the work on the front end to get to that end goal of having a following, having an email list. And of course, keeping that focus in mind, regardless of what you're going to do, that we're here to build an audience and an email list of people that know, like, and trust us, so that they are going to choose to purchase with us. And okay, so another thing to think about whenever you're trying to decide on what your niche is going to be is to make sure you're focusing on the outcome that you're going to provide people. I think that we kind of get in the weeds on this a little bit, but we want to make sure that we're providing an outcome that is actually going to be worth people's money. The perceived value needs to be worth it to them, and it needs to get them to their end result easier or faster. So we need to take them on that journey to the desired outcome. So make sure that when you're creating your own product or service, or researching affiliate programs for a product or service, it really needs to provide a solution to a problem that is big enough people are willing to pay for. So I think that that's a really good thing to focus on, because you don't want to get yourself into a position where, you've made a training about like how to clean a cup or something really silly, and nobody's going to be willing to pay for that because it just doesn't make sense. So let's see. When you say niche, is it a specific thing like vitamin C or women's health or just health in general? Yeah, I think so. Health would be a really, really broad niche. Women's health would be a little bit more narrowed down. Women's health for people above 40 would be even more narrowed down. So I think trying to be also specific is really, really important. And there's a lot of mental struggle with this piece as well, because people think that by going too narrow that they're going to be leaving out people, and that's going to result in them losing money. but that's really not true. Actually, you want to be able to really talk to one specific group of people, because then they're going to feel like you are in their head. They're going to be like, this person really gets me. They understand me. They are literally in my head. She is saying everything that I'm thinking. I don't even know, like, it's seriously like she's a mind reader. Like, that's how these people should feel. And in order to get people to feel like that, you do want to be more specific so that you can speak to that very specific group of people's pain points, and then share with them how you're going to be able to provide them the desired outcome that they're looking for. And I think one of the next struggles that people come to once they decide on a niche is, why would anybody listen to me? Like, how are people going to care? Why are they going to care what I have to say? Why are they going to listen to me? I don't think anybody's going to listen to me. So I just don't know if I can do this. So this is where you have to be vulnerable, and you have to share your personal story that connects you to what you're doing. Why are you qualified? Why should they consider you the authority? What experience do you have? What struggles have you gone through to get to this point? How exactly can you help them get to where they're trying to go? And how are you different from all of the other people providing the same service? And I think that one thing too to keep in mind is that it's a lot easier to be different than it is to be better. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to be better than anybody else. You just need to be different and connect with people on that level. And just one example that I thought of a few days ago was my personal trainer. When I was searching for a personal trainer on the website, there was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different people on there, and they all had their biography and their qualifications listed so that you could kind of see which person you thought that you would fit in best with before you made a decision. And I ended up choosing the personal trainer that I did because she had added one little line in her bio that said she likes to watch reality TV in her free time. That one little thing caused me to pick her. So that is just one thing that made her different. And how ridiculous and silly is that? Reality TV, like, that's the reason. Okay, yeah, it is, because I actually am the same. Like, I will watch, that's like my guilty pleasure. Like, I will watch reality TV in my free time. So I don't overcomplicate that, because seriously, there could be one little thing about you that makes somebody follow you and end up purchasing from you. So that's a really good example of, you don't need to be better. You just need to be different. And you need to actually share those things about yourself, because that's how you're going to connect. Now, how many people in the world that think reality television is a stupid waste of time and they would rather beat their head against a wall? There's a ton of people that feel that way. They absolutely hate reality television. They're like, oh my God, how do you watch this? My boyfriend included lives here with me and absolutely hates it. Like, hates it. He cannot stand it. But to each their own. We're not trying to catch everybody. We're trying to catch the people that are like us. And that is just an amazing example of how just share your personality, who you actually are, what makes you you. Those are going to be the reasons that people listen to you and pick you. And they're going to be the things that maybe you actually don't like about yourself. I think another thing that people that are really good at marketing are also really good at taking their own insecurities and leveraging them. They put themselves out there and they're like, hey, like, I am so bad about this. Like, I will leave dishes in the sink for 2 months at a time. Like, I'm a single mom and blah, blah, blah. And they literally put it all on the table, and they will, put their insecurities out there. And how many other single moms do you think there's probably out there doing the same thing? And while a bunch of people are going to comment and say, that's disgusting, oh my God, blah, 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 there's going to be a lot of people that actually relate and click the follow button because of it. So we want to be vulnerable and share those personal stories so that we can make the connections with our people. Not everybody, just our people and the people that we're looking for. And people are going to listen to you because they like you and they trust you because they've grown to get to know you. And it is really hard to put yourself out there on social media, but obviously you all know, like, that's what we're here and that's what we're doing. I think that there's a lot of other ways you can make money online outside of posting on social media. But a big issue that I've learned over the last 8 years of investing in Lord knows what, there is a major, major issue with people selling the education on all of the different ways you can make money online, like Etsy or drop shipping or Amazon KDP, or, you know, selling digital ebooks or whatever, different, all kinds of different things. And while all of those different things are they're great ways to make money online, they leave out the most important thing, is that you have to have an audience and an email list in order to make any money with any of that stuff, including Pinterest. Like, you have to have an audience or nobody is going to see your offer. Nobody's going to see your drop shipping website. Nobody's going to see your Amazon KDP or ebook or whatever it's called. They're not going to see any of that if you don't have an audience. So at the end of the day, anything that you want to venture out and do, maybe write a blog. Even then, with a blog, I mean, you'll have to pay to get yourself seen, unless you're some master manipulator with this SEO, the search engine optimization. It's not easy to get your content and what you've built out in front of people. So you have to grow an audience and an email list, and social media is a free way to do that. You can post on social media for free and get free leads. So any way that you want to go in the future, building an email list and an audience is going to be the way that you can go into all kinds of different avenues later. If you build an email list, you will have more opportunities in the future. And this is kind of like the foundation of opening up that world of possibilities for yourself. So I hope that that was a little bit helpful with choosing your niche and kind of deciding which way to go if you have multiple things in mind. Going digital products if you can, but at the same time, like I said, if you are somebody who's interested in skincare or fashion or home improvement or decor or organization like Jessica is, there is still plenty of opportunity with physical products. And at the end of the day, you need to follow what you're going to be happy with posting about every day and what people are going to feel like you are the authority about. Because if not, you take a really strong risk. Unless you're like a master salesman and you can sell literally anything, then you go ahead and sell anything. But I don't think that any of us are here because we're master salesmen. Like, we're here because, you know, we are doing our best and learning every day and improving every day. If we were master salesmen, we would probably already have a sales job at some company that pays us enough money to where we wouldn't be here. But most people, I think, are not master salesmen. And so being vulnerable and sharing something that people are going to feel, they can feel if you know what you're talking about. So staying focused on that is super, super important. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in my notes here before I want to talk about kind of the big picture related to this entire situation, kind of excuse me, piggybacking off of everything that we just said. The main goal here, and it will open up so many opportunities for you. Like I said, the main goal here is to really put yourself out there, put your story out there, start posting, and start building your email list. Because an email is where over half of sales come from. If you don't have an email list, you are leaving so much money on the table. It's ridiculous. And I think especially with some physical products, like if you're going to be sharing a lot of physical products, that can get a little bit froggy with how you're going to collect emails. But even for skincare, for example, you can say, you know, my 5 products that I absolutely can't live without as someone who has oily skin or something like that. And then they give you their email, and then you shoot over the 5 things. And then of course the 5 things in your freebie are going to be connected to an affiliate link. So you don't want to overwhelm people with like so many affiliate links, but there's definitely creative ways to get around and do any of this stuff to where you can still build an email list. Because what you don't want is to spend months or years growing a social media account and have these social media channels shut down or ban you, or you get hacked and, you know, you lose your account forever. If you don't have an email list, then that could really be a detriment to your livelihood and your entire business. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure that your main goal is always building your email list. That's always going to be the main goal. And especially in the first 60 to 90 days, I want to talk a little bit about what I would recommend posting on or recommend focusing on. And this will be the first 60 to 90 days after you've launched. And by launched, I mean started posting every single day. Like once you have made your first post and decided, okay, I'm going to start posting every single day from here on out, that is considered that's when you've launched. So then within the first 60 to 90 days after that, there's going to be like a daily checklist of things that I've put together for you guys. And I may add a little bit more to it, but for now, I think that these are really good things to focus on. If you just focus on these 4 or 5 things every single day, it's going to be the best chance you have at getting to your goals faster and growing an audience faster, growing your email list faster. And the time frames are going to vary just because some of us are better at creating content than others. Some of us are more comfortable on the camera than others. Some of us have prior experience with different things. So this is a rough estimate of what you should focus on every single day for the first 60 to 90 days. And this is kind of supplemental to everything that's already in the 30-day challenge and afterwards. And I just think that this is really, really important to keep in mind that we're building as a beginner, we're building the foundations that are going to set us up for success later, because in the core Hustle Den training that is going to be released after 30 days of being in the program, that is when you're going to start learning the more in-depth marketing and business strategies that can help you grow. And I'm going to be adding more and more to that core Hustle Den training and beyond that as well. But I think a lot of people miss the fact that a lot of these methods will not work unless you already have been posting for 60 to 90 days every single day and completing the few things on the daily checklist, like following the guide. And I'm going to send that to you guys after the call, and it'll be with the replay as well. But you'll get to a point, once you get to the point that you have people who are listening to you and you have a small email list, you can get to the point where it's kind of like a choose your own adventure type of situation. There's going to be so many methods that you can use to continue to grow your audience and continue to make sales and continue to try different things that maybe work better for you, like hosting monthly conversion events might not work for everybody. So there needs to be other methods and ways that they can go about building their audience and getting more sales. But none of the methods are going to work effectively unless you have done the foundational work of growing the audience and your email list. So that's why I think that this first 90-day daily checklist is going to be super important for getting people to the growth faster than kind of focusing on the wrong things. And that's been a big topic of discussion in the last few weeks with everything that has gone on. One of my biggest frustrations is that a lot of other programs are very worried about their own wallet. And don't get me wrong, I'm obviously here to make money. That's why I'm here and sharing all my knowledge with you guys. But at the same time, there is a line to where it gets just to be greedy at that point. It's just like they are literally just doing whatever they can to like take as much as they can. And all that's doing is distracting beginners from what they need to be focused on, especially in the first 90 days of posting content. Like, you need to just stay focused. You don't need to be worried about any AI or anything that can make anything easier for you. Stop scrolling on social media and listening to any of that crap. Like, if you are not already making at least $5,000 a month, you don't need to be looking at any of that stuff. Trust me, you need to be focused on the real business and marketing skills that are required to actually have long-term success here, and connecting with your audience, growing an audience of people that know, like, and trust you. Because if you don't have that, like, all of that other stuff is useless. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too, because how many things get popped up in our face every single day? AI this, it'll do this for you. It'll create 150 posts in 5 minutes for you. And all this stuff comes up and we think, ooh, maybe that's an easy way out. Maybe that's an easy way. There is no easy way out. There is no easy way out. Stop falling for it. They're tricking us. They are literally tricking us and they're trapping us. And it works. Why does it work? I don't know. We have got to stop and stay focused on the 90-day daily checklist and stay focused on the only things that matter in the first 90 days, especially. And that is just posting content and following the things on the checklist to make sure that your content is, you're setting yourself up for success so that after that 90 days too, you have a bunch of content to analyze. We have all kinds of content to analyze now. And we can see, okay, what did people like? What did they really not like? Why didn't they like it? Did my hook suck? What happened? Like, what's going on here? Like, what do we need to do differently? So super important in the beginning. And I'm going to share that with you guys. And another thing too, in the first 90 days or so, it is really challenging for a lot of people to kind of detach from the result because we're so interested in that first sale and getting the sales rolling in and money, 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 money. I need the money. I need the sales. I need the commission. I need all of this. And like just getting frantic with that connection to needing that end result. You have got to detach yourself from that end result because desperation will never breed success ever. That's never going to breed success unless you're able to somehow magically turn your desperation into the most driven, go-getter attitude you can and channel that energy in a positive way, then maybe it will work, but you can't show up selfish and desperate. You need to just give selflessly and not be expecting anything in return because over time, easy is going to be earned. And it is a lot harder in the beginning because guess what? You've got an account with 2 followers on it. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody thinks you're trustworthy yet because you have 2 followers. And it takes time to grow followers. And then you get to a point where you've got 1,500 followers or 2,000 followers and people go to your account and they're like, oh, okay, this person is somewhat creditable. They relate those followers to credibility, even though followers does not equal sales. The vanity metrics don't equal sales, but unfortunately, like a follower count definitely will help your credibility and you'll grow the followers over time. And then that gets you to a point where you do have a little bit more credibility and you don't have to work so freaking hard at proving yourself, but it takes time to get there. And that you get there by proving yourself, by being selfless and just being vulnerable, sharing your story and actually genuinely trying to help people, responding to comments, being genuinely interested in making connections with people. And I think at first, because that is a lot of work and maybe you're thinking, you know what, like, I'm not interested in making connections with anybody. Like, I don't need any more friends. I don't want to talk to people. That's not really what I want to do. Just keep in mind that, like I said, easy is earned. You're not always going to have to be so roped into every single person that comments, and you don't want to come across like thirsty or anything, but you just want to come across genuinely interested in this person, their struggles, how you can help them, what they're going through, why they feel a certain way, or what happened, or whatever you can do to just be genuinely curious and making those connections authentically. And over time, as you grow your credibility, you're not going to have to do that to prove yourself to somebody. And there are going to be people that come through and go straight to your link in bio and grab your information without you even having to say anything because they know the drill. And it'll get to that point, but it just takes time to get there. And when it comes to posting every single day, especially when you're first getting started, that is a huge thing to overcome. And it feels scary and you don't want to push the post button. You're like, oh my God. And you're just pushing it and you're scared. And that feeling will go away. It's just like everything else. Like, you need to just do it repetition. And that's another reason why in the first 90 days, it's so important. Like, post as much as you can. Like 2 times a day is the bare minimum, in my opinion. And I know that there's going to be varying situations where you just can only do what you can do, and that's fine. But typically, I think the majority of us are just making excuses as to why we can allow ourselves to be lazy. I do it. I'm like, you know, it's okay. Like I did so much yesterday. I can be a little bit lazy today. Or I just don't really feel like it. I'm not going to do that. It's so easy to train our brains into being lazy. And I just don't want anybody to do that to themselves because it's just self-sabotage. And we don't want to do that. Um, Personal development, of course, is a major thing in this area. And you'll learn that over time if you haven't already figured that out. And if you've checked out the core hustle then training outline, it's not available until after 30 days, but there is a whole personal development section in there for this reason, because this is very important. I think that people completely forget. There's so many aspects to this, and this is exactly why. Even just in this one call, I've only been talking for 40 minutes, and I feel like we have gone over so much. And this is just a couple little topics within the whole big picture of it. And this is exactly why it is really challenging to learn and really challenging to teach, and not possible for anybody to help anybody for free, because this is just a crazy amount of things that we all need to learn, and we're continuing to learn every single day. But it's a lot of information, and the personal development side of keeping yourself organized, keeping yourself disciplined, growing the confidence that it takes to put yourself out there and be assertive, have conviction in your offer, show up and be like, I am the person you should listen to, and this is why. This is why you should listen to me. I'm the best, and this is why. Here's my story. Be vulnerable, share your story. All of the things, like how to establish yourself as the authority. This all drives from confidence, is a huge aspect of this. And a lot of people that want to get into this space and have more than enough knowledge, they have so much knowledge they could share and they'd be so great, but they really struggle with the confidence of putting themselves on camera. And there are ways to work through that, because what is that? I mean, it's just a personal development thing. There are people that are obviously more quiet, less talkative, and just on the shyer side in general. But I think if we work hard enough at it, that can be overcome. And this all is relative, because if you can't show up with that confidence and that authority and the assertiveness, nobody's going to listen to a little mouse on the other side of the screen. You don't sound like you believe in yourself. You don't sound to me like you're confident that you know what you're talking about. So I'm probably not going to listen to you. And again, that's a difference in personality type. Like I'm on the stronger side of my personality, so I'm more likely to listen to somebody who is also that way, like more in your face and more direct and to the point. And this is what it is, and this is why it is what it is. And if you don't like it, get out of here. Like that's my style. So I'm more drawn to that. But then that's not true for everybody. Like other people don't like that. They find it very annoying. They're more drawn to people that are calm and cool and collected and diplomatic and all of the things. And then maybe that's their style. So a lot of the things too, I think that a lot of this stuff isn't black and white, and it's so case by case for each person. So that's another reason I really want to focus on putting a lot of different methods out there for you guys, instead of just saying, this is the only way you can do it, this is the way you must do it, and this is the method that I use, and you need to follow my method. Like, just because that method is working for me, or, you know, I prefer it, doesn't mean that you wouldn't prefer to do something else. And that's okay. Like, there are so many different ways that you can make this stuff happen. It doesn't have to just be one stop, you know, only this method. But there's a big, you know, the big secret that everybody has, that they sell, that big secret that they found, that the easy way out, the big secret to making money online. And then they sell that as like, use my method, I made all this crazy money with just this method, this is it. And okay, that's great that maybe that did work for them, and maybe they're not lying, but there's so many things missing from here to there, and we're all different. So kind of knowing what's going to work for you and then being able to adjust is super important. So I'm excited to get those types of things worked out and in the training for you guys. I try not to focus too much on all of the things that come across my path. And I do recommend that you guys don't scroll on social media at all. Like once you're posting on social media, like the only reason that you're on there should be like 10 minutes a day of maybe some content research so that you can have ideas for what you want to post. But like scrolling on social media for pleasure just is a waste of your very precious time. Like, I get that we're going to be tired and exhausted and you might not always want to work on the business, but scrolling aimlessly is just such a waste of time. And I hate to see people that are trying to build businesses waste their time doing stuff like that, because that is not how you're going to build a successful business. That is not how you're going to do it. It's just not. I will say I get so encouraged by you. Starting this has been a mental battle. It's the am I good enough question every day. Confidence is huge. Lots of prayer and faith moving forward. Yes, Molly. I'm glad that something I'm saying is encouraging and speaking to you. That's great. I love that. And yeah, confidence, major. And there's so many things that we can do to prep ourselves to be more confident in what we have going on. And I don't know if you were in the call at the beginning, Molly, whenever I was talking about the difference between kind of the confidence and conviction that you're going to have whenever you're sharing somebody else's program, product, or service versus your own. I think that ownership brings out a lot more natural and genuine confidence and conviction in what you have going on if you've created it, because it obviously is going to be something really important to you. You've spent a lot of time and time and effort into building whatever it is that you're going to be sharing. And that's one reason I really like if you guys can focus on getting to the end goal of creating your own service. That would be huge, because it's going to help with your confidence too. Like this whole business, like if you take it seriously and push yourself out of your comfort zone and just keep going and get to a point where you're like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm doing this because I know I can do this. And I want to change my life. I want to change my family's life. I want to change my financial situation. I'm sick of struggling. I'm sick of being in toxic work environments. I'm sick of these bosses thinking that they can manipulate and control me and just treat me like a dog. I'm sick of it. Like, get to a point, if you do whatever you need to do to get yourself there, because I don't know if you're like me, like you try to stay level-headed and not make any rash decisions. But then I reach a point where I am so mad, like I get so mad that like I am dealing with this crap. Like that's how I felt when I was at my 9 to 5. Like I would put so much time, energy, and effort into that company because I take a lot of pride in my work, no matter if it's for me or for someone else. I've always been like that. And all the crap and toxic stuff I was dealing with, I just got to a point that I was so freaking mad. And I used that anger to be like, like I am getting out of this. I am tired of this. I am tired of this. I'm not going to keep switching jobs to be in the same environment again. Another toxic work environment where nobody knows really what's going on. They're treating it like there's no procedures, nothing is structured. So that makes my job a living hell. I was just tired of it. I was so tired of it. And I used that energy of just being sick and tired and went for it. I don't care who sees this. I don't care what they have to say about it. I don't care who comments negativity. I'll delete it, or I will block certain keywords from my comments so that I don't have to see these things. I'll do whatever it takes to make this happen. And having that mentality is huge. And there's a lot of things that you can do to prep yourself to get to that point and kind of growing that confidence and being in a community. Like I said last week, it's super cliche to say, but being in a group of like-minded people helps bring that out in you, because there are going to be other people here that are ready to keep you pumped up and motivated. And maybe they already have the confidence that you're needing and they'll help you get there. Like being around other people that are already where you want to be or are also going where you want to be. And even just on a personal level, like the personal development side and the confidence side, there's big, people always say that, you're only as good as your closest friend, or the people you surround yourself with is a reflection of you. And it's true to an extent. And if you're around other people that are really confident and help lift you up and boost your self-esteem and your confidence, then over time, you'll get to a point where you do have that confidence. So I'm always open to, if you guys have anything specific that you want me to add anything into the training about, please let me know. I've got those feedback forms in the checklist. So when you feel like you've gone through enough, there's an onboarding one that's separate. And there's also an additional one that's more for the training that will probably make more sense to fill that out once you guys get access to the core training. But if there's ever anything that you guys want me to add more of, I've got a really long list of training that I want to add. So I've already got like a crazy amount of ideas. Every time I think of something, I'm like, oh, I need to do a training on that. I need to do a training on that. So I'll be adding a bunch more training in there. There is already so much for you to go through, but this is, like I said, there's endless ways that you can make money online by growing your audience and your email list. And I want to share as much of those as possible in a way that's going to make sense, and also be transparent in the fact that you do have to have an audience and an email list for a lot of these methods to work. And that's why the first 90 days of after launch and your first post of daily posting is super important, so you can be set up for success, so that these other methods will start bringing in the income that you guys are looking for. And related to personal development too, I'm definitely the go-to person, I would say, for people that know me. I am a go-to person if they're having issues in their life or need advice. I'm interested in personal development and self-care and all of that kind of stuff. So I enjoy talking about that kind of stuff as well. It's another huge passion of mine, I would say. And that's one of the reasons I was really excited to even have this opportunity and then be able to offer like the personal development section, because it is so freaking important. And it's something that really isn't included in a lot of trainings. And it's critical for you to be organized and confident and establish yourself as the authority and do all of those things. But if there's any piece of even that, if there's more like personal development style training that you guys want to see, I'm happy to do whatever I can to include that as well. And we can go through that. But my goal is really going to be to do as much learning as I can, continue to educate myself, continue to share that education with you guys as we go, and just build a really awesome community here. All right, I'm going to share the Canva document with you guys, and this will also be in the weekly call replay section. And Molly and Samantha, I know you guys showed up a little bit late, but the only thing you really missed, I think, was that I updated where the weekly calls are going to be at. So if you log in and out of your learn.hustle-den, where the courses are, you'll notice that there's like a new course in that section, and that's going to be where the weekly replays are at. Since whenever I'm updating them on the beginner's checklist, it's not updating your guys' checklist. So that was why we had some issues with people not being able to find the replay. So that will be different now. And that was the only update that you guys really missed that's important. So replays will be under courses, and I'll update my checklist. So we'll have that information in there, but you guys will see it in there, so it should be okay. Before we hop off, does anybody have any questions for me right now? So the feedback on the software, you can reach out to me anytime if you have any feedback. Definitely the software training, I'm really excited to see your guys' feedback on that, just because I know that's a major pain point for a lot of people. And I've got step-by-step, like click here, click here, click here, click here. Like it is very step-by-step, and then written out if you prefer to read the steps. And then I've also got a video showing the step-by-step that you can watch along with it. So I'm really excited to get feedback on that, because I would like to, if there are any issues, I would like to fill those gaps now so that in the future that's fleshed out for anybody that comes through in the future. But yeah, I mean, reach out to me whenever with any feedback that you guys have at any time. And the what did I call them? I just said it too. The feedback forms that are on the checklist, those are kind of more like official capacity. That the onboarding one was just kind of that it's hard to perfect the onboarding process and make it easy, because there just is a lot when you first get started. But I tried to make it as easy as I could. So yeah, but that feedback form is out there if you guys have any feedback on the onboarding process. And then the training, like I said, that'll probably make more sense to like fully complete that once you've got into the core training. But in the meantime, you can always just send me an email or a support ticket and let me know anything that you're thinking, and I will jot it down on my majorly long to-do list. Going through the 30-day challenge so far, it's been organized and thorough. Good, I'm glad. I've gotten so much positive feedback on that 30-day challenge. I just love to hear that, especially because there's people that come to me and they've already spent like, you know, over $10,000 on programs and felt like they didn't learn anything. And then they're like, I learned more in your 30-day challenge than I've learned in this other crazy, insane dollar amount investment. And I'm like, that is terrible. That is terrible. I hate to hear that, but I'm also happy to hear that you're having a positive experience. Yeah, completing the modules, it's like a really satisfying feeling. And even so, like going back and rewatching stuff, I've had people tell me they went back and watched the challenge again and they picked up on so many other things that they, you know, didn't pick up on the first time, because you're just getting thrown so much information in the beginning that it's impossible to take in all of it. It's just impossible, especially with someone like, I try to not go on tangents, especially when I'm in a training, but I just talk fast and I have a lot to get out. So I tend to be really, really long-winded. And there's just no way that you're going to be able to like remember every single thing and every single detail. So rewatching stuff, even if you already feel like, well, I already did that, I don't need to rewatch that. Like sometimes there's little nuggets in there that will help get you through a mind block that you're having. But if you guys don't have any questions, we'll be cut off right here at an hour. But if you have any questions in the meantime, you can use the button in the community to submit a question. And I set that up just so I can provide you guys thorough responses. If I can see your questions in advance, then that'll give me the opportunity to come up with a really good answer for you guys so that it's helpful, and rather than trying to come up with it on the spot if it's a more in-depth question. So definitely take advantage of that if you have any questions. But in the meantime, as always, reach out to me whenever. Any feedback, I'm open to it. And I appreciate you guys joining me on the call today. Thank you guys. Talk to you later.